Hello, I'm Andy. We've got a bit of a cold. Oh, I better hold this here, right? The X came out of more like the sort of Dutch squat scene of the early 80s, sort of punk. Their roots came from the punk from England and America. But it started just at the beginning of the squat scene in Amsterdam. So that was the beginning of it. It was really to do with the energy and the kind of anarchy and sort of autonomous, do-it-yourself. It was a bit like the X took punk seriously and did it the way the earlier original punk bands should have done it, and all of the original punk bands sold out completely and were signed to majors within a year. But it just grew, it just developed because the musicians stayed open, so a lot of influences came in, like jazz and improvised stuff and African music, Hungarian music. And that's always continued. I think that's why it's lasted so long, because we always kept. I mean, we never defined ourselves as a punk band. We call it X music because we don't know how to call it anything else. We don't know what it is really. We're control freaks. We keep control of our destiny and our sort of our management. We manage it. We decide everything. We also decide how our money is spent. So if you sign to a major, you lose control over that. Your money is spent by other people. So I think that's the main thing. It's like independence, and it's very simple. It's really not complicated manifesto, or it's just keeping it at a kind of basic level and also person to person, and not letting someone else sort of turn the. I mean, we have an agent that books our tours, and in America we have a label also that releases our records, but they're also friends, and we're in constant communication with them, and they're always asking us, what do we want? They're not telling us what we should do, and we don't have to actually tell them very much. I think they kind of understand. So I think that's the ethic, and that also keeps it alive for us. I mean, we could sign to if you sign to a big label, probably you end up getting more money, but I don't think it's necessary at all. And I don't think any of us would be happier because of it. We'd probably be unhappy. So we're not going to do it.
Why?
if we have our political beliefs, they're our political beliefs. It's not like we're trying to enforce those or preach them or be like righteous about it. So I think earlier it was more, the X was more literal and direct with that politics, and people still sometimes associate us with that, but I think it's more subtle now. I think it's less direct, it's more kind of metaphorical and personal, Yoss's lyrics. So we're not trying to enforce or push ideas. So I don't even feel like giving I don't think my political opinion is that important for people. It's fine if I'm talking one-to-one with someone, but to discuss it in a magazine or something, I don't find that really relevant in a way. I mean, we can if we decided just to talk about that as an issue, but that's not the. I think the music is really the most important thing, and how that like the way it communicated with the people tonight. I thought that was. I mean, that's what we want to do. It's not really a punk band. It's a band that has some punk aspects to it, but it has some folk aspects to it, and some jazz aspects, and some improvised aspects.
Okay, maybe we will, maybe we won't.
And some completely non-musical aspects. And so if we meet a musician that we think also on a personal level is going to fit, it doesn't matter where she comes from, whether she comes from jazz funk or anything. If she is open and...
Why is everyone beating on me tonight? Damn it! This guy started it off.
I think,
and then like everybody else just...
It's maybe better that she doesn't know very much about the roots of our music at all.
Bianca's she was like
all these bands that we grew out of, she's completely unfamiliar with it. And I think that's to her advantage and ours, because it makes the music something else, and it keeps it open. It doesn't.
Stop it.
We're not going to go look for a punk bassist, in a way. I always have the feeling that people's idea about where we are or what we're doing is usually about 5 or 10 years behind, which is understandable. It's because unless you're really following a band's progress and getting all their records and meeting them and talking to them, you have no idea. So you make up your own picture of it, and it can be based on something that you read, and that journalist might have been lazy and wrote something based on something that was 10 years ago. So people do have some strange ideas about it, but it's okay. It's not. I think there's a great community of musicians in Holland, amazing community. And in the last few years, the borders and boundaries have really come down. So modern classical are playing with jazz are playing with punk are playing with electronic. And you have little small sort of grassroots clubs forming where musicians from all the different scenes are coming together. And I think that's really, really healthy. The whole band culture, that's another area I don't actually know so much about. There's a few good bands, but I'm more connected with the kind of musicians scene there. And I think it's really good. It's kind of international, kind of cosmopolitan music scene there with a lot of different styles all meshing up. We're still really excited by music and by new music, and we're listening all the time to different kinds of music, and we get excited about it. We're not stuck in a kind of corner listening to one type of music. So every time we get excited about a new kind of music from another country, that goes into our creative sort of making our songs. So I think it keeps it really alive for much longer. And we don't play ourselves to death. We do like maybe 50 or 60 concerts a year. So we don't do these insane 2-month tours which can split a band up and it completely sort of drain your battery. I think we just try to keep it alive by not overdoing it.
It's a song of Africa, a little country called Eritrea, and the nice thing about it is that Muslims and Christians live in peace together there, so should be possible in the rest of the world.
We played Ethiopia. That's an unusual one. That was amazing. That was incredible. It was actually because Terry was traveling there, and he came back and he said to us we could play Ethiopia. And at first, most of us were like, I mean, we wanted to, but we thought, do they want us to? We were really like skeptical. But he seemed very, very convinced that they would like it. So we tried. We sort of went for it, and it was incredible. We learnt about 4 or 5 Ethiopian classic kind of Ethiopian pop tunes from the 60s and 70s. And so Kat sung some of them, and Ham Benning played the drums. And we played half a set which was these pop tunes that they would recognise, and the other half was our set. And so for the first half of the set, when we played these pop tunes, they were totally amused and sort of curious and sort of, and then when we played our set, I think they just thought, wow. And at first we kind of toned it down a bit. We thought we'd better be careful, but actually they liked the wilder stuff the most, the stuff with the most energy. So it was fantastic, and we were always playing outdoor to free, like not charging anything. We tried to charge once the equivalent of 25 cents, and nobody came. So the next night we said it was free, and then 3,000 people came. So after that we thought, okay, we don't charge. when the X started releasing records, they realised at a certain point there wasn't good distribution in Holland, so they decided to set one up, and it's grown since then. And it's actually downstairs in my house. I live in a school that has sort of apartment blocks on the top 2 floors and offices underneath, and Konkurrent is there. So it's very nice to have my record distributor right underneath me. So I go down sometimes and borrow a CD or carry a box up the stairs. The Fishtank series came from the idea of when you go in the studio without completely structured songs and you just try things out and you build stuff in the studio. So you compose in the studio. You just bring in an idea and you build it up. And we did that with Instant, the CD Instant, and with Joggers and Blueprints. So the idea with Fishtank was to ask other bands to do that. That's a bit where it came from. That was a Konkurrent project. That was their idea. And so we've done a couple of them, but lots of other bands have been doing them. It seems to go well. When we finish this tour, we go to Chicago and we record this set with Steve Albini. And then we go home and sleep. Oh no, then we go to Cinema Texas, which is in Austin. It's a short film festival. And we do a couple of concerts there. And then we go home. Actually, no, I don't go home. I come back to Chicago and play with Kath Matthews, who's you know her, and John Butcher. We play in there's a festival in the Empty Bottle, and then we go home.